Washington Square On Air is the audio town square for the Washington Square Review, Lansing Community College's literary journal. Writers, readers, scholars, publishing professionals, citizens of the world gather here and chat about all things writing. Hey there, this is Melissa Ford Lucken, editor for the Washington Square Review, but I'm here today as Professor Melissa Ford Lucken with Joseph Esper, who is in my Writing the Novel class last semester. Hey there, Joseph.
Hello.
So tell me a little bit about your arrival at Lansing Community College. How did you decide to come here?
Well, originally I decided out of convenience. Where I live, there's a LCC campus probably about 20 minutes away, and I could also take a lot of classes online. It was a lot cheaper than going to a four-year university. So that's why I decided to go with LCC. And originally I was a general associate's degree, and I changed it to creative writing because I got more into writing.
Okay. Let's back up a little bit. Where do you live?
I live in Howell, Michigan.
Okay, and what's that like?
It's a pretty normal place. Not too much goes on there. I guess the most notable part is the Howell Nature Center, which is the biggest animal rehabilitation place in all of Michigan.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I worked there for 5 years.
Nice. What was that like?
It was a lot of fun. It was complicated.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that. Farm fields, houses, kind of a rural suburban mix.
I mean, it's the county seat, so it's not super small, but yeah, it's not exactly urban either.
Okay. All right. Kind of middle of the road. So you started taking classes at the Howell campus.
Yes.
And then eventually obviously came here to the main campus in Lansing.
Yeah.
What was that like difference?
Oh, it's very different. I mean, I started doing LCC in 2022. No, 2021. I didn't even come to Lansing until 2025. So
Okay.
it was quite the adjustment, having to drive all the way out here, being in the city, which I'm not familiar with.
Uh-huh.
I'm still not particularly familiar with the campus.
Okay. Things like parking, finding your way around the different streets. Is that what was the biggest difference?
Yeah, probably. I mean, thankfully, it's a pretty straight shot from the highway to get to the campus.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to Lansing plenty of times. For sure, my grandpa was at the Sparrow Hospital.
Okay, which is right down the street.
Yeah.
What about the classes? Did they feel the same?
Well, I did most of my classes online before this.
Okay.
So actually having to interact with people is very different.
Okay. In what ways?
Well, for online classes, you just did your homework, turned it in, and 9 times out of 10, you didn't even know the name of your professor.
Okay.
I could not name a single professor from any of my online classes. Did not interact with any of my classmates. I just did my work and turned it in.
Yeah. And how many online classes did you take?
Maybe like 5.
Okay. All right.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, so a fair number. What made you finally decide to start coming to campus?
I didn't really decide. I didn't have a choice.
Okay. All right, you needed to.
My last 3 classes I needed were all only in person and only on the main campus, so I didn't really have a choice but to come here.
Okay, and are you glad that it worked out that way? Please say yes.
Yeah, I am.
All right, so talk a little bit about the different courses that you have taken here on campus.
So the first one, I've only done 3, so it's pretty easy to remember. First one was prose style, which is not what I was expecting.
Okay, so that's one of our creative writing courses.
Yeah.
What were you expecting?
I guess I was expecting, I don't even know what I was expecting, to be honest. I wasn't expecting it to be so in-depth into creative nonfiction.
Okay.
Which I didn't even realize was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I even wrote a few essays, and one of them I'm really proud of. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Talk a little bit about creative nonfiction. So it sounds like you didn't know that was a thing before you got there.
Well, creative nonfiction is one of the easiest ways to say it is like personal essays, or essays with more personality and flair. Because in high school, we were taught that essays had none of that. You are not to put any personality or personal interest in it. You are just stating facts. 5 paragraphs, an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, conclusion. That's an essay. That's what all essays are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a complete lie.
Well, I suppose it's still true in some corners. It's just.
In some ways, but
Do you feel lied to then?
yeah. English class in high school was not particularly useful.
Okay. In what ways?
Well, throughout most of high school, the only things that we learned in English class that wasn't directly related to a book we were reading was ethos, pathos, and logos,
Okay.
which we went over all 4 years.
Okay. So you're good on that. You got a good handle on it.
I got a good handle on it the first time. I definitely did not need the other 3.
Okay. So it sounds like you were mostly doing a literary analysis, reading books, and then talking about what was going on in the book.
That's pretty much all we did.
Okay. As somebody who appreciates writing, obviously, and creativity, did that kind of make you like it a little bit more? Being able to read someone else's book and then think about what they did. I'm just wondering where your inspiration for writing came from.
Actually, it was the opposite.
Oh, no.
It made me like it a lot less.
Oh, no. Why?
Well, with all these novels that we were reading, they were very heavy literary novels. I did not enjoy a single one of them.
Is there one that stands out that you especially did not like?
Catcher in the Rye.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I hated that book
Okay,
so much.
let's talk about that. Why did you hate it so much?
Well, for one, I read it during COVID, so that's kind of tainted by that.
Okay.
And just the entire book is basically just the main character complaining about things
Mm-hmm.
and then going out of his way to do the things he's complaining about. Not really much of a story, not much of a character arc. It's just an annoying main character doing things he doesn't like to do.
Okay. Did other people in your class agree with you as far as this, or did they like the book?
Well, at that point, we were all online. It was the height of 2020.
Okay.
So I don't really know what the general consensus was. I wasn't seeing anybody. But I would assume most people didn't like it too much, considering the attitude of the class in general.
Okay. Have you read it again since that first reading?
No, and I don't intend on it.
Okay. I the first time I read it, I also hated it. I found the main character frustrating and did not relate to the situation at all. And it was probably about 15 years later I reread it. I don't know why. I guess I was curious to see if I would hate it still because everybody loves it, right? It's a famous book.
Yeah.
So I reread it and I did not hate it as much. And I saw it differently. So add that to your to-do list for like 15 years from now when you're stranded on a desert island and you have nothing else to do. Just reread it and see if you still hate it. What other books did you read?
Well, I remember quite a bit of them. There was, right when I say that, I completely blank. Lord of the Flies.
Okay.
To Kill a Mockingbird. The Great Gatsby. Fahrenheit.
451.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. And did any of those?
No,
Okay.
not a single one.
And were they all read during COVID?
No, this was all through my 4 years of high school, from 2018 all the way up till 2021 when I graduated.
Okay. All right. What about Lord of the Flies? Why did that one not float your boat?
And that's the one I remember the least because that's when I was a freshman.
Okay. Kids get stranded on an island, plane crashes, and then they turn on each other.
Yeah.
Does that refresh your memory?
Yeah, it does. I don't remember exactly why I didn't like it, but I'm just not really a huge fan of heavy literary novels in general.
Okay.
They tend to bore me, and the intense use of figurative language confuses me.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it was the way that the conversations went instead of it sounds like like you said, they were looking at figurative language. They were looking at perhaps like, what does this mean, rather than letting you say what you thought it meant. Does that kind of make sense? Like they're like,
Yeah.
this is a book about this, instead of asking you, what did you get from it?
Yeah, kinda.
Okay. What do you like to read?
I've never been the biggest reader in my life, which ironic, I know, because I.
Well, what stories do you like then? Games, movies?
I am a huge fan of video games.
Okay, well, those are stories.
Oh yeah, and my favorite types of video games are RPGs, which are very heavy with the story.
Mm-hmm.
my favorite games are the Xenoblade franchise, which is what is the main inspiration for my stories.
Okay, so why do you think the video games inspire you to write in ways that the classic literature did not?
More creative world building and more creative stories. And one thing that video games has an advantage over books is optional storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Not so like when you're writing a book, everything you put in the book has to be completely relevant to the plot, and you can't put in as many optional details because then it'll just make it longer. Same with like a movie or a TV show. With a video game, you can put in a bunch of details about the world building in the story and just make it optional content. So if the player doesn't care, they just play the main story and they don't have to view it. If they do care, you can view all the optional content, and it really expands and builds on the world and the story of these games, and that's one thing I really, really like.
Mm-hmm. So you like the world building and the storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps more so than fussing over the sentence structure and the language and the beauty
Yeah.
of the written word. Okay. Let's talk about how that transferred into the current projects that you have. So when you were in the writing the novel class, you had already completed one novel.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about what it was like to write the novel, prior to class, because we'll talk in a minute about what it was like to write the novel for class, the third one. So tell us about the first one.
Well, the first one was a lot of trial and error, to be honest. When I first started writing it, I kind of had no idea what the heck I was doing.
Mm-hmm, yep.
I just had this idea of a story that I really liked, characters that I felt I could do a lot with. I just started writing it. And
Well, tell us a little bit about the characters and the story that you had in mind.
so the book's called Follies of Humanity. I don't know if we said that or not. And it takes place in the fictional world of Testudo, which is a world made up of 6 floating islands in an endless sea. And the main character is a young man named Matthew, who at the beginning of the story, his village is attacked by these mysterious monsters called shadow beasts, and his sister is killed in front of him. And his sister's killer tells him if he ever wants to see her again, he has to find out the truth of the world. So he goes on this big grand adventure to really dive into what that means. What is the truth of the world that he was supposed to find? He meets a bunch of fun and new characters. There's his mentor Malcolm, who already went on his own journey, and he meets an elf girl named Melia, who convinces herself that she doesn't care about anyone or anything. She does, but she's convinced herself that she doesn't. And they go on this journey to find out what the truth of the world is, and it builds and builds, many twists and turns. It's not a straightforward journey at all.
Mm-hmm.
So
So when they're on the journey, do they experience different environments?
yes, so each island has its own ecosystem environment. Some islands have more than one. Like the island he starts on is a very wooded and foresty area. Like the humans live in the middle of a forest, and the rest of the island is these big, sprawling, beautiful green fields. And then another island has a massive mountain and a bunch of other smaller mountains making up like a tableland, and then the mountain peak, which is where the elves and other races live on. And each island has its own ecosystem, which is inspired off of many video games that I play.
Yeah, but you also had the fun of creating each different environment.
I try to put in details about the environment, about the wildlife that lives there, how they differ from other islands.
That's a lot to keep track of.
It is.
How did you keep track of the information as you were creating these different islands? Did you have a notebook, or how did you do that?
Originally, I drew a map, actually.
Okay.
So this big piece of paper had all 6 islands, kind of some scenery from each of them. And I used that map throughout the entire writing process. I also had a document that when I originally thought of this idea, I wasn't even going to make it a book. It was just a silly story idea for a Xenoblade-like video game that obviously was never going to be made because
Okay.
I'm not a game developer.
Yet. Maybe you will be.
Maybe. And then I kind of just realized one day, that'd make a good book.
Mm-hmm.
So I used that document as like a guide to help me keep all my thoughts straight. I definitely veered off from that document, and I'm very happy I did.
Yeah, that's usually the way.
Mm-hmm.
Having seen the book and read parts of it myself, I know it's pretty long. It's what, like 100,000 words? Do you know how long it is?
It's just under 100,000 words. I think it's like 98,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a long book.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how long did it take you to write it?
About a year.
Okay. And what did you do for editing?
Well, I had to edit a lot because I did not write it right the first time.
Well, for sure. No one does.
Like, even with just a basic book formatting, I didn't even do that. So, like, I put spaces between each paragraphs. I had it in the document in letter format instead of something closer to book format.
Okay.
I didn't even put commas at the end of quotes
Okay.
or dialogue. Like, boy, I wasn't even close. So I probably did around 10 rounds of editing because I just made mistake after mistake.
For
Really
sure. Yeah.
Stupid mistakes.
But you did it. And a lot of people
And I
would
did
not.
it.
I mean, that's almost 100,000 words. That's a lot of words.
And it was more words the first time I wrote it.
Okay.
It was over 100,000 and now it's under 100,000. So I cut out a lot of just filler words.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think that's natural. When you're going through the first draft, you'll put in stuff that later on you see, you didn't go anywhere like you thought. So talk a little bit about the difference between what it was like to write it, outside of a class, and then you start writing the novel class. Talk a little bit about what that was like. How did the class change or not change what you were doing?
It definitely did change and for the better.
Okay, good.
I definitely feel like I'm a better writer. I still am not one to put in all that much figurative language.
Okay.
I stick to the point.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want to write my books so that people who don't have high reading levels or don't read that often can still enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like me.
Okay.
And I feel like writing the novel helped me with that. I've cut down even more on filler words.
Mm-hmm.
And it's helped me flow my dialogue better. It's helped me just my writing to flow better in general. I feel like I have a better understanding. I don't really know how to describe it, but I have a better understanding on how to write a book, not just write a story, because those are two very different things.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that stands out that you do remember, the difference between writing a book and writing a story?
Having faith in my dialogue, I guess.
Oh, for sure.
Because
Mm-hmm.
in the original book, and I might actually go back and change this and re-release it, is that after every line of dialogue, I have X character said, or he said, she said.
Mm-hmm.
In the current work I'm doing, I don't do that because I'm putting more faith in my dialogue that it's clear who is saying what, and I don't have to do that every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Although I still do sometimes if it's not clear, because sometimes it's not.
Yeah, sometimes it's not, for sure. What about structure? Because we talked a lot about scene structure and plot structure in regard to novels. How did that hit you? How was it helpful?
I feel like it was pretty helpful, so I could have a better idea of where each scene was going. I feel like I already had a pretty good idea, because my book was not my first time writing a story. I wrote lots beforehand. But in general, I do think it helped me tighten down a little bit more and not put in anything that would need to be cut later, like with the first book, learning from my previous mistakes.
Right. What about workshopping? So in our class, we shared work with each other and gave each other feedback and comments. How was that experience?
Personally, I've never been the biggest fan of workshops, but that might just be me being an introverted person.
Mm-hmm.
But having other people read through it and give feedback, it helps.
Mm-hmm.
Even just hearing what other people have to say before I publish it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And in our class, the advantage you had was that they hadn't read the first one So that would help you see whether or not it was going to stand on its own.
Yeah.
But workshopping is not only receiving feedback, but offering feedback. So what did that feel like to read other people's stuff and offer them feedback?
I enjoyed it quite a bit. It helped that most of the people in the workshop group, we were all writing fantasy novels. It was all but one of us. So I tried my best to give feedback where I saw necessary. I'm by no means a literary critic,
But you have your own perspective based on what you value in stories, and also, like you said, with ideas with gaming and way you can have multiple plot lines kind of going on at one time. Yeah, I think that's pretty fascinating. Before we sat down and started talking, you told me a little bit about your theater background, and I'm just wondering, how does being in theater inform your creative process and the way that you see stories?
It's definitely helped to broaden my mind space. I'll be completely honest. When I was younger, I was pretty closed-minded to a lot of things.
Okay.
I've been trying to fight through that pretty much ever since I graduated high school, and theater has helped just open me up to more possibilities, and not just storytelling, but life in general. Like I said, I was really closed-minded, and theater has really opened me up to more ideas, more lifestyles, more social connections. I would not be the person I am today without theater.
Okay. So how old were you when you started?
I started theater in my sophomore year of high school. I think I was 15.
Okay. And do you remember what the production was?
I do. The only Shakespeare play I've ever done, Twelfth Night.
Okay. And how did you decide to do this? Because you said you were feeling like you were kind of closed-minded, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'll do theater, which, like, how did that happen?
Kind of just on a whim, just like how writing my book was kind of just on a whim.
Okay.
I was in drama class. I was already doing that.
Okay.
And then I saw like...
How did you end up in drama class, though? Did you pick it, or did
I
someone...
picked it.
Okay.
Just mainly due to lack of other good options.
Okay. All right, this is making a little more sense now. So you're in drama class, and you're like, this is pretty okay.
Yeah, and the drama teacher was the director for the play.
Okay.
So yeah, I kind of just randomly decided to audition for this Shakespeare play, even though I had no experience with Shakespeare or much interest in Shakespeare at the time.
Uh-huh.
And
you weren't as close-minded as you said you were.
And my drama teacher did, in fact, take a chance on me, put me in the cast, and I have been doing at least one show a year ever since.
Okay, so what was the role that you had in this Shakespeare?
I was in the ensemble, so it wasn't. I didn't have any lines or any big role, but it's a background character, which is what I've done for almost every show.
Okay, and what about the experience? When you looking back, what about that experience kind of started to help you grow as a person and see things differently?
It forced me out of my comfort zone a lot, and it helped me just get to know people, be more comfortable around people, and be more comfortable expressing myself.
Okay.
That's one thing I was not very good at when I was younger, is just letting myself be me. And not have to put up all these walls around people. And theater helped me do that a lot. And I feel like if I didn't break down those walls, I never would have been open to writing a book.
That makes sense. Is there a particular event that you can remember where you started to kind of open up to people a little bit more?
Not really. It was just a gradual thing. It's still happening. I'm still struggling with it.
Is it perhaps having a shared goal? Because I know in theater, you're all working on the same production. Even though different people have different jobs, you all have the same end goal in mind, which is a great production. So there's a high level of accountability in theater?
Maybe. I mean, no, I wouldn't say so, because I did sports before then, and we had the same goal there. And
okay.
I did soccer in my freshman and sophomore years of high school, and that was not a good experience.
Okay, interesting.
My team was not good. They were not good teammates. I was ostracized a lot because I wasn't very good at soccer.
Well, apparently, you weren't the only one. So that's interesting that you had such different experiences, and this was at the same school system, right?
Same school system.
Okay. All right. So you did the Shakespeare play, and then you stayed in doing theater productions till the end of high school.
Hmm.
And now you're out of high school and still doing theater.
I joined the Community Theater of Howell, Frank, again, on a whim. Just got a random email. Don't even know how they got my email address. Random emails about this, like, hey, there's this show. How about come down and audition? They probably sent it to thousands of people. Well, a lot of people. I just happened to be one of them.
Uh-huh.
Show was 9 to 5, based off the Dolly Parton song
Okay.
in the movie. And I auditioned, I got a role, and I have done something in almost every single main stage show that CTH has done ever since then.
Okay. And what was your role in 9 to 5?
I played Josh, which is the son of the main character.
Okay.
I was also on an ensemble role, so I was both Josh and random office worker.
Okay. Random office worker. Is there singing involved?
Yes, it's a musical.
Okay. And dancing also?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And you do both? Sing, dance, and act?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. Have you ever thought about getting involved with Lansing Community College's theater?
Lansing Community College is a theater?
We have theater courses. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have taken a couple, but I didn't think it really went beyond that. But
Okay.
also, it's a drive to get out here. It's almost an hour for me to get here, and Community Theater of Howell is right down the street.
That's true. Okay, and you're currently doing Our Town.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And what's your role in that one?
I play Simon Stimson, who is the church choir director.
Okay. What do you like about the production of Our Town?
It's very different from anything I've done. It's not a musical, and the last time I did a non-musical was my first ever show.
Okay.
So it's been a long time.
Interesting.
I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of the actual story of the show, but I can still recognize that it's a great show. We have a lot of great people involved. That's the main thing. It's the people involved in it. And it's fun to do something so different from what I've been doing the past so many years. I don't feel like doing the math.
Okay. When you think about your experience with theater and your experience with writing and storytelling, how do you see those two things working together? Like, how does the theater inform your writing?
Well, like I've said, it's helped me open my mind to different things. It has helped me see different types of stories, different types of characters. Most theater shows I've done have been the more comedic side, but still there's some really good storytelling in there. I'm not sure how to directly relate them, to be honest.
Okay. Well, I was wondering if the way that you think about dialogue, because that was something that you mentioned, because obviously theater is really dialogue heavy, and having confidence in your own dialogue, that you don't need the he said and she said. I guess what I was wondering is, when you're writing the dialogue, do you ever hear it as like stage dialogue, like people conversing? Or does it sound different in your head?
I usually try to hear it in the voices of the characters that I'm writing, especially in the more emotional moments, which I've always struggled a little bit to write those. I really don't want to mess them up.
Well, they're hard, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess theater has helped. I do relate to theater a little bit with that, in the more dramatic and emotional scenes, because those are the scenes that in a play that really stick with the audience.
Right. Is there a connection with gaming also, from theater to gaming in any kind of way? Because it's showing a story, right, versus reading a book, which is, a very different kind of like way of communicating.
I mean, some of my favorite games do have elements inspired by theater, but for me personally, not so much.
Okay. All right. I was just wondering. And what are you working on now?
Right now, I am working on Follies of Humanity 2, which actually takes place in an entirely different world from the first book. So this book takes place in the world of Yukushima, which is basically it's a world heavily inspired from Japanese architecture and traditional Japanese culture,
Mm-hmm.
but it's entirely covered in snow and ice. Because 1,000 years ago, the Ice Empire started the Ice War, and as the Ice Empire advances into other territories, it brings with it the cold, harsh, wintry weather.
Mm-hmm.
The Ice Emperor himself is basically the living embodiment of the death of winter. This war has been going on for years and years and years, and it's now there's only one great nation standing in the way of the Ice Empire. And the main character, Yuri, who is a young woman, her parents were killed, and her village was pretty much slaughtered by the Ice Empire when she was just a 9-year-old girl. So she's made it her life's mission to end the war by killing the Ice Emperor. That's pretty much that's her one motivation, is to kill him.
Very
for
clear
revenge.
story goal.
Yeah. But as the story goes on and she meets more and more people, her worldview is challenged at every turn. She learns many things about the world and the war and even the Ice Emperor himself that challenges her views. She starts to see that the world is not just black and white, is not just good and evil. The king that she serves, not a good person. Her kind of like the main rival of the story, a general from the Ice Empire, turns out she murdered his brother many, many years ago, and now he is falling into the same trap of revenge that she has already fallen into. So now she's watching someone else fall into the same abyss that she is falling into, and all these different things start to play a war in her head.
Mm-hmm.
Is what she's doing, is it really right to be so consumed by revenge? Or is it not right? Or is it better to look for other options, like some of her more peaceful friends?
Mm-hmm. Awesome. It sounds very like Shakespearean. Did you notice that?
I did not.
See, there is an influence. I knew we'd find it. Okay, so you're spending this semester completing your associate's degree in creative writing here at Lansing Community College. And then what's next for you?
I don't know.
Okay. Being a gaming developer.
Maybe. I actually just became an employee with EduStaff to be a substitute teacher.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to do that over in Howell.
Okay, awesome. Have you haven't had your first day substitute teaching yet?
Not yet, no.
All right. Well, I look forward to hearing about that, how that goes in the future. Awesome. Well, thanks a lot for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Thanks for stopping by the Audio Town Square of the Washington Square Review. Until next time, this has been the Washington Square On Air from Lansing Community College. To find out more about our writers community and literary journal, visit lcc.edu/WSR. Writing is messy, but do it anyway.